Hi, I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be how to attract women without trying. So, I've got an email success story I'm going to share with you today. This particular guy is 53, and his girlfriend of about 10 months is 36. And so, what's interesting is I did an email probably, I think it was like last year sometime, called Flaky Ex-Girlfriend with him. He was one of the 3 emails that I went through, the last one. And at the time, he had just come across my work. And because of a divorce that he had had, and then after his divorce, he ended up knocking up a girl that was like half his age. He's like, that's it. I've sworn off women altogether. I'm not going to date. Want nothing to do with it. And obviously led to a series of events. And just because he didn't want to date anybody after his experiences, he was giving off a perfect vibe of indifference. And he's a pool player. He's been playing pool for like 34 years. And that's where he likes to hang out, his friends there. And so this particular woman he met at the pool hall, and obviously she's beautiful, and pretty much every guy in there has been trying to date her for years. But she chose him. And what I like about this email, obviously it's an update because he's continued to study the work, but now he's 10, 11 months down, close to a year down the road since finding my work, and he's done a really good job of maintaining the relationship. Because it's not about getting laid, hooking up, it's you want to be able to maintain it beyond that, especially when you're with somebody you really like and you actually want to listen to and hang out. And these two both love to shoot pool, so they obviously have a lot in common. So I have a quote that I wrote in this topic, and then we'll go through his email to see what he's done successfully. And the quote says, "Men may pick the women that they want to date, but it is women who actually do the choosing. Women are naturally inclined to dress sexy and look intoxicatingly beautiful and irresistible, so that the men they desire find it hard to resist them. That is why it's best for men to get themselves into great shape, not just physically, but emotionally, mentally, and spiritually, to cause the most desirable women to inquire about and pursue them. Top-tier men who have their lives together don't have to go looking for women. Their lives and lifestyle naturally attract the best quality women to them effortlessly. Love is allowing, and therefore it simply becomes a matter of saying yes when opportunities present themselves." As I say all the time, and I've just done countless phone sessions over the years, meeting women is a side effect, at least for men, it's a side effect of having a great life and a great lifestyle. If you're a successful guy, an alpha type guy who goes for the things that he wants in life, you're going to become successful. And if you work your ass off and you apply things that I talk about in Mastering Yourself, all around self-reliance, as well as my first book, 3% Man, you're going to make yourself the most attractive man that you can be, and women will find you. They will seek you out, and they will come on to you and present themselves to you in just the normal course of living your life. You don't really have to go looking for it. It just kind of presents itself, and you're like, oh, wow, look at her. She obviously likes me. So this email is a perfect example of how that works, because the average guy, he's not going clubbing. He's not out trying to pick up women every night of the week. He's just trying to live a great life and have a lot of fun. And in the process of doing that, he's going to meet other like-minded guys to become friends with, and obviously like-minded girls. Remember, like attracts like. People that like the same things tend to like each other. And this guy is going to the pool hall just because he loves shooting pool. And as a side effect of shooting pool and kind of being like the mayor of the pool hall where everybody knows who he is, he set himself up in his little corner of the world as the alpha in his community. And so what's interesting is that this woman also relayed to him some of the comments that some of the other women were sharing, because they were obviously kind of jealous of the fact that he was showing her, or she was getting so much more attention from him than the rest of them were. It's just really a great email success story, and I'm sure you guys will like it. So let's go through the email. He says, "Hey, Coach, I love your work. This is somewhat of an update on an email I sent you almost a year ago. I've read your book a few times and watched lots of videos, but I was actually applying a lot of your principles accidentally prior to finding your YouTube channel. Here's my story." Well, remember, attraction is not a choice. And if you're in relatively decent shape and you take care of yourself, because the reality is, I mean, especially in America, most people are obese now. And so if you just work out and take care of yourself, you don't have to be one of those big, huge, bulky guys. I'm not a big, huge, bulky guy that can barely get through the door and can't walk like a normal person because I'm so roided out. But I look good. And you're going to get noticed when you look good because most people, they don't look good. And so just by getting yourself in a relatively decent shape and wearing nice tight-fitting clothes, you're already ahead of most of the guys that you're going to be competing against. That helps level the playing field in your favor as much as anything does. And it's the easiest thing we all can do to make ourselves more attractive. He says, "I play pool, and I've been playing for about 34 years, and I'm pretty good. At the pool hall and bar I hang out in, I'm one of, if not the best, pool player there." So he's the top dog. He's kind of like the guy in a famous rock and roll band. Everybody comes to see him, and all the groupie girls want to sleep with the lead singer and the other guys in the band. He says, "Obviously, this means that the pool players that frequent this particular pool hall all have a lot of respect for me. All the other men, all the other alphas defer to him and respect him. Women that notice this, they know who the top dog is. Women are naturally most attracted to the most dominant guys. You don't have to be rich. You can just be a guy. In this case, he's the top dog in his little corner of the world. This kind of makes me the alpha male in this particular location. The great thing about pool is that it is enjoyable for people of all ages, so there are all different age groups of women that hang out there. But unfortunately, it's mostly just dudes, so there's actually a lot of competition for the few women that hang out there, LOL. And that's why it's so powerful, just going there and playing pool, not because you're trying to meet girls, but because you want to go have fun with your friends. And when you and your friends are having the best time, and you're focused on your little group and having a great time, and then you got all the rest of the dudes in the place throwing their dicks at the fewer women that are in there, the women are going to start to wonder why you guys are not really paying attention. Because guys that aren't paying attention, they're either taken or they're gay, obviously. And obviously in this case, they're all heterosexual dudes. And so therefore, they're going to wonder, what's with these guys? Why don't they pay any attention to us? How come they ever come up and try to buy us drinks? He says, "I'm 53 years old, and about 10 years ago, after a bad divorce and then getting a girl pregnant who is half my age," naughty, "I decided to just swear off women for a while. I just didn't really want to make any more bad choices with them, so I just cut them all out of my life, so to speak." He took a hiatus. A self-imposed pussy embargo. There are a few good-looking women that hang out in the bar, and I could tell some of them had a little bit of interest in me, but I just always kind of acted indifferent. I wasn't looking for a woman after all. I would flirt some if they flirted first, but beyond the casual flirting, I wouldn't take it any further. I certainly never asked any of them out. Like I said, I had really sworn off women and decided that I was happy being alone. I was a card-carrying MGTOW member, I guess you could say. There was this one woman in particular, a hot little 36-year-old cutie, that every man in the bar wanted. She had a gorgeous body, good personality, and seemed to be a really nice person. There's nothing like women who are really nice people. What a difference that makes in your life. Women that bring in drama versus women who are easygoing, easy to get along with. I've been blessed. I wrote about them a couple of them in my book. Man, the sassy, bitchy women, it's like, there's just days you just don't want to deal with that shit. And it's nice to have a woman who's just kind of always she's not too high, she's not too low, just pretty even keeled. One of my best friends, it's like he and his wife been together almost 30 years. He says it all the time. He says, the reason I married her, she was nice to me. She's still nice to him. She's nice to everybody. All the guys in the pool hall would constantly hit on her, throw out cheesy pickup lines, chase her around like little puppy dogs, and buy her drinks. I did none of that. I noticed she seemed to put herself into my orbit a lot and would frequently shoot pool together. Remember, attraction's not a choice. She can't help but be drawn to this guy. And I would give her pointers, etc. We would flirt a bit, but that's it as far as it went. This went on for 4 years, LOL. So he's totally giving off a non-hungry vibe, not even trying, whereas every other guy is. The last 6 months or so, I noticed she was being even more flirtatious than usual and really giving me all the signals. I found out later that she had just broken up with her abusive boyfriend. He wasn't anyone who hung out at the pool hall. So that's a bonus. You don't have to deal with any kind of psycho exes or anything like that. Again, I wasn't interested in being with a woman, to be honest, so I never asked her out. I would flirt and banter with her, and then I would go home with my roommates and tell them that Jessica really had the hots for me and that I could probably have her if I wanted her. They would laugh at me because I'm 18 years older than her. Age is just a number. And at the end of the day, she was interested in you. Anyway, one night, I had a couple too many drinks, and I was sitting at a table with her, and after we had gotten done shooting some games of pool, I guess because I had a little buzz, she got up some courage and she said, this is great. When are you going to get it over with and ask me out, damn it? I smirked and said, this is a great line. I smirked and said, probably never, but if you want to ask me out, I'm right here. Because he already knows the answer to that. But it's all part of the fun and games. I said I love the movie Charade with Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn in the 60s because he does such a great job of that. She expresses interest and then he kind of acts like he's not interested in a playful way that's kind of obvious that he's acting like he's not interested. But that's the whole point. Love is playful and fun. She looked taken aback a bit, but said, can we go to dinner together sometime? I told her, I've sworn off women years ago, but I guess for you, I can make an exception. That's awesome. I've never seen anyone smile so big. When she walked away, her ponytail bounced back and forth like a little schoolgirl. She was so happy. Well, like I talk about in 3% Man, masculine energy grows through challenge and feminine energy grows through praise. So she's beaming. Not because he praised her looks, but because he simply said yes to her. What did that do? Moved her completely in her feminine, just like a little schoolgirl in love for the first time. Anyway, we've been dating for about 10 months now, and everything is great. She told me the other day that the thing she liked most about me was that I didn't act all try hard or go out of my way to try to please her, and I was always just being myself. So another thing, I use these movies a lot because they did such a good job of capturing the right vibe on screen, but It's a Wonderful Life. If you notice the Violet, the blonde who all the guys in town are after and promising things to, but she wanted George Bailey, even though Mary ended up with George Bailey. But George was a gentleman to everybody, even Violet. He even helped her out. Even though she presented herself and made it obvious that she liked him, he wasn't interested. And what I think is great about that movie is you see that. You see these 3 or 4 dudes that are all dressed up in nice suits and hats, and they're trying to do things for Violet. Oh, can I buy you a drink? Let me take you here. Let me do this for you. And so as I was reading this, like all the other guys hitting on her, and he's just not doing anything. He's just being awesome. And it still worked. He did nothing. He's just an awesome guy, awesome, attractive guy. And so what happens, she has to take more and more risk. She makes more and more of an effort to get noticed. And she doesn't have to do that with anybody else. You think, well, why? That doesn't make any sense. You got dozens of guys after her, but she goes after the guy that's seemingly disinterested. When I went to take her on that first date, I looked up first date ideas and I ran across your YouTube channel. As I learned more about your principles, I realized that I've been using them all along, if only by accident. My indifference allowed me to be myself, charming, not care about the outcome, not put women on a pedestal, not to chase them around like a little puppy dog like all the other guys were doing. And now that we've been dating a while, she tells me that there were other women, and this is what is also like. Notice what she says about the other women in the bar. And this shows you the power that this guy had just by his presence and going and having fun playing pool. It's like, I'm not looking for chicks. I just want to have a good time. And yet all the women were talking about him and noticing him. And it made him more attractive and desirable. And he wasn't doing anything. So now that we've been dating a while, she tells me that there were other women in the bar that wanted me as well, and that she was lucky to have me. Makes it pretty easy. Hang out, have fun, hook up. She said that these girls would always come up to her after we got done playing and say, I wish Bob would give me the attention he's giving you. And she would say, well, he's really not giving me as much attention as I want, but thanks. The funny thing is, I never asked her to shoot pool with me. It was always her asking me to play. When women like you, they help you. They put themselves into your orbit, and that's what she did. I generally like to play for money, not for fun, but if she saw me standing around not playing pool, she would ask me to shoot a few games with her. Really hard. It's really difficult. Anyway, I managed to snag the best looking girl in the pool hall, the one that nobody else could snag, many of them after years of trying, and it's simply because of the principles that you teach that I was actually applying accidentally. Well, I wouldn't look at it as that you managed to snag the best looking girl. She managed to snag the top dog alpha in the pool hall. That's what really happened here, bro. So good job. When you don't care about the outcome, it's easy to be charming, not nervous, and of course, not to chase them. Your book and your videos have helped immensely in keeping her interested. I have a feeling I would have been a needy little bitch had I not found your work as soon as this relationship started. Also, after reviewing your work, I have decided that I am not going to swear off women for the rest of my life like I thought I was going to. Yeah, it's like when you get the fucking cheat codes. Life is easy and effortless. I just want to hang out, have fun, and hook up. What a way to live. Well, cheers to that, dude. You can get these at teespring.com, Coach Corey Wayne store. And he says, P.S. She chased me for 4 years. I guess I can say that I've gotten even at least for some of the dudes out there that have been in the friend zone for years. Well, again, I wouldn't look at it as you were stuck in the friend zone. She was stuck in the friend zone. If you really take a step back, that's what happened. She was in friend zone because, you know, your reasoning was you had just sworn off all women. But at the end of the day, she was in friend zone and she got herself out of friend zone by seducing you, my friend. Because that's the way it's supposed to be. So if you got a challenge in your personal or your professional life and you'd like to get my help with it, go to understandingrelationships.com, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and book a coaching session with yours truly. Until next time, I will talk to you soon.